is one of the most influential philosophers in Western history. Born in Stagira, a small town in northern Greece, he was a student of Plato and later became a tutor to Alexander the Great. His works laid the foundations for various fields, including philosophy, science, and political theory. Here's a detailed overview of his life and contributions. Early life and education. Aristotle was born in 384 BCE to Nicomachus, the personal physician to the Macedonian king, which granted him access to the Macedonian court. His early exposure to medicine likely influenced his later interest in biology and the natural sciences. At the age of 17, Aristotle traveled to Athens to study at Plato's academy, where he remained for nearly 20 years. Although deeply influenced by Plato, Aristotle began to develop his own ideas, often diverging from his teacher's views. Philosophical journey. Divergence from Plato. Plato's philosophy emphasized the realm of forms, abstract, perfect entities that existed beyond the physical world. Aristotle, however, believed that the physical world is the real world, and knowledge comes from studying it directly. This led to the development of his empiricism, the idea that observation and experience are the primary sources of knowledge. Aristotle's philosophical method emphasized logical reasoning and systematic observation, which became the basis for the scientific method. His work in logic, especially the development of syllogisms, remains foundational in the study of reasoning. Aristotle in Macedonia, tutor to Alexander the Great. In 343 BCE, Aristotle was invited by King Philip II of Macedon to tutor his son, Alexander the Great. Aristotle's influence on Alexander is a subject of debate, but it is believed that his teachings in ethics, politics, and military strategy had a profound impact on the young prince. Despite his later conquests, Aristotle's influence on Alexander seems to have been more philosophical than directly practical, focusing on the virtues of leadership and statecraft. Return to Athens and founding the Lyceum. After the death of Plato in 347 BCE, Aristotle left Athens and spent time in Asia Minor and the Macedonian court, before returning to Athens around 335 BCE. There, he established his own school, the Lyceum, which became a rival institution to Plato's academy. The peripatetic school, named after the covered walkways where Aristotle taught, emphasized practical learning and systematic inquiry into both theoretical and practical sciences. Aristotle's school gathered a vast range of information from the natural world, conducting empirical research that laid the groundwork for many modern disciplines. His students were known for walking around the school's covered pathways while engaging in philosophical discussions, thus giving rise to the term peripatetic. Major works and areas of study. Aristotle's writings cover a wide array of subjects, ranging from metaphysics and ethics to politics, rhetoric, and biology. Some of his most significant works include Metaphysics, explores the nature of being, substance, and causality. Aristotle refines the concept of the unmoved mover as a prime cause in the universe. Nicomachean Ethics, focuses on human happiness, eudaimonia, and the virtues that lead to a good life. Aristotle introduces the idea of the golden mean, where virtue lies between extremes. Politics, examines the nature of the state and governance, advocating for a mixed constitution as the best form of government. Poetics, discusses literary theory, particularly focusing on tragedy and its emotional effects on the audience. Catharsis. Rhetoric, looks at the art of persuasion, a critical skill in public life. Physics and biology. Aristotle was deeply interested in the natural world, and his biological works involve detailed observations of animals, making him one of the first recorded figures in zoology and taxonomy. Ethics and politics. In ethics, Aristotle's Nicomachean Ethics introduces the concept of virtue ethics, which is about achieving a balanced and virtuous character. For Aristotle, the ultimate goal of human life is to achieve eudaimonia, often translated as happiness or flourishing. This is accomplished by living a life in accordance with reason and by cultivating virtues such as courage, temperance, and wisdom. In his Politics, Aristotle famously claimed that man is by nature a political animal, and explored various forms of government. He analyzed monarchy, aristocracy, and democracy, suggesting that a balanced constitutional government, a mix of oligarchy and democracy, is the most stable. Scientific contributions. Aristotle's contributions to science were vast. He believed in categorizing the natural world based on observable features, and laid the foundation for modern biology by classifying animals into different genera and species. His belief that everything in nature has a purpose teleology influenced his scientific thinking, although many of his conclusions, particularly in physics and astronomy, were later disproven, such as the geocentric view of the universe. Despite the inaccuracies, Aristotle's approach to empirical research, collecting data, observing the world, and developing theories, was groundbreaking. He also emphasized the importance of causality in understanding the natural world, proposing 4 types of causes: material, formal, efficient, and final, exile, and death. In 322 BCE, following the death of Alexander the Great and a rise in anti-Macedonian sentiment in Athens, Aristotle faced accusations of impiety. Fearing a fate similar to that of Socrates, Aristotle fled to Chalcis, where he lived for the last year of his life. He died there at the age of 62. Legacy. Aristotle's impact on Western thought is immeasurable. His works were preserved and transmitted by Islamic scholars during the Middle Ages, reintroduced to Europe in the 12th century, and became foundational texts in medieval scholasticism. His influence extends to Thomas Aquinas, whose synthesis of Aristotle's ideas with Christian theology shaped much of Western philosophy and theology. In modern times, Aristotle's contributions continue to be studied and debated, particularly in the fields of ethics, metaphysics, and logic. His empirical approach to studying the world also laid the groundwork for modern scientific inquiry. Aristotle's intellectual journey spanned multiple disciplines, and his approach to knowledge, grounded in observation, logical reasoning, and empirical research, remains central to many fields today. His legacy is one of systematic inquiry and practical wisdom, influencing centuries of thought and providing a foundation for both philosophical and scientific endeavors. If you're enjoying this content and want to see more, don't forget to hit the like button and subscribe to the channel. It helps me and keeps you updated on all the new videos I post.